It's weird to see the man down.
Okay, Gain Seekers, welcome to another episode of Client Cast. On this episode, we've got Gain Seeker Sam, who had an incredible journey, absolutely incredible journey, and I cannot wait to take you guys through it, show you behind the scenes from Sam's perspective how that journey was, what he learned from it, what he's got from it, and where he's going with it. So, first of all, Sam, welcome to Client Cast.
Thank you.
How's your day been, brother? You had a positive day?
Yeah, it's been good. A couple of exams. Obviously, I'm away training at the moment with work, so things are a bit up in the air. But we're still going to the gym. We're still keeping fit. Keeping that mind focused as best we can.
Yeah, that's the best way. With these courses and stuff that you're doing now, these exams and all that, how many days out of the week are you away? Is it just literally this week, last week, or is it for quite some time?
No, so just at the moment, it's just this week and next week, and then back home, back to normal, back to reality.
Is it a straight 2 weeks then that you're away?
No, I'll go back home tomorrow and then come back again Sunday. I'm in Warrington at the moment, so go
Yeah.
back home. Go back home yeah. Go back home tomorrow. Come back Sunday, and then go back home next Friday.
Brilliant stuff. And how are you finding managing training and nutrition and everything?
Nutrition's very, very hard while I'm here. It's a lot of
Yeah.
carbs. I'm not used to as many carbs, so for me, it's very difficult. I do miss the structured food. No matter
Yeah.
what people say, eating the same food is not boring for me. It keeps me focused, and obviously, I'll explain, like you say, from where I've come from. It's nice to keep myself in check.
Yeah. Absolutely 100%. And training wise, what have you done? Have you got access to a gym in the hotel or you just gone to a local one?
Yeah, so we do have a gym in the hotel, but I don't like it. It's too small, so I've just swapped my membership to Pure Gym down here. Obviously, I train in a commercial gym, not a bodybuilding gym, not a powerlifting gym. So I just train commercially. So I've been training, and then my cardio I've swapped out for some swimming this week. I've been swimming every day, sauna, steam room. So something a bit different.
Yeah, brilliant, man. That's absolutely brilliant. That's what you've got to do when you're away. You obviously know that it's not going to be like being at home and being at the gym. So you just do the best that you can and make a challenge out of it. Enjoy it. To be honest with you, that sounds a good routine, especially with the sauna and steam room and everything. Really bloody sets you up, or can relax you at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? So what we'll do is we'll start cracking on now with your actual journey. And I want to say before I go into that, good luck with the exams. Do you feel prepared?
Yeah, I did my first one today. I passed the first one today, so now it's just obviously next week. We'll
Brilliant.
just see how things go.
And these exams that you're taking, will they enable you? What are they leading to?
So basically, it's just progression in the job that I do. So it's just moving forwards. It's like the next step up, and it's just general progression for work and for myself.
That's beautiful, man. That's what life's about. That's exactly what it's about. Setting a goal, achieving that goal, building. Just trying to get as far as you can in all areas. As a human being, you're capable of so much, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, Sam, I want to get this first. I'm going to share a screen here and I get this first picture up of when you kind of started your journey. Where you were before. Now, what I would love to get an insight into is where you were mentally at that point. And when I say that, I don't just mean like because a lot of people will think, oh, where you were mentally at that stage with how you looked, but I just mean in life generally, right? Like where you were, what your mindset was, and what you were wanting to change really. So I'll get that up now. Okay, just tell me you can
That's,
see that. So I just got a few pictures here. Can you see that?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you can definitely see that, right? So, oh, it's got a few here. Another holiday shot,
I
and a
look good
shot
then.
from when you kind of like began with me. So tell me this. At this stage, man, before you kind of reached out, where were you? Give viewers an insight into how your journey kind of began.
I don't know really. I'd lost sight of everything, and I didn't think I looked that bad. Um,
Yeah,
when you see a picture of yourself, it's shocking, and for me, it was just I didn't think. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Mentally, you feel all right. You know, you feel just like the normal. We were eating a lot of food and things like that. And then for me, it just kind of kick started when I went to buy some clothes, and it was just shocking, really, at the size I got.
Yeah,
So
that
so for me,
realization kind of. Go ahead.
so for me, it was just a big reality check that I thought I was all right mentally and physically, but obviously I was miles away from where I were, and
Yeah,
just
I mean, the
the
thing about. Go ahead,
go
brother.
on, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say to you that basically what it is, the thing about it is that you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people kind of just get stuck in the normal day-to-day routine, right? And you lose sight of yourself. You're just eating, you're going out, you're not really bothering about too much, getting on with your job, getting on with your life. And I always say to people, bad habits slowly creep up,
Yeah,
right? Just like good habits compound and build up. Bad habits slowly build up. And it's always something, a trigger, like somebody saw a picture of themselves and they thought to themselves, shit, I didn't know I let myself get out of shape like that, right? Or they're getting ready for an event or a social occasion or something, and they're going to try on clothes that they want to wear, and they get a bit of realization that shit, this ain't fit me. I'm letting go of myself here. And is that what it really was for you?
yeah. So obviously, to talk about it's quite shocking, but I went to buy some clothes with the wife, and we're like 42 waist, 42, 44, and it's big. You don't realize how big that is. In terms of weight, I think 122 kilo, 19 stone,
Yeah,
and it was just a shock, and I just from there it kind of spiraled, and then my wife bought me some pants for Christmas. I wanted to ride my motorbike again, and she was like, "These are the biggest pants I can get, and you still don't fit them." And that was the reality check. Then that was life needed to change, and I had to change, and that's where it all sort of began, mentally and physically.
no, absolutely. And I mean, at that stage, so that when you got those pants right, and like these are the biggest that you can get. Obviously, you love riding your bikes, and you're thinking to yourself, "Fuck me, man, I'm not even fitting to these properly now." Right? At that stage, there was that it. Then you'd had enough, and you thought, literally tomorrow, I'm going to get up. I'm going to start fucking turning this shit around. Like, what was your initial thoughts to get out of that? Because a lot of people go through that. They'll get motivated to do something, and then nothing happens, right?
Yeah,
And I kind of think that I kind of think to myself that so many people will talk themselves out of something that's going to be so powerful for them to do, right? So I really want to know. You get to that stage, you're 19 stones, your clothes are not fitting, you can't even do the thing that you enjoy that much anymore, which is riding, right? Because the pants are not fitting properly. And then what was the plan of action coming out of that? You just thought, fuck me, I've got to start changing things around.
yeah. So that obviously that was Christmas, and then I said, "Look, get Christmas out the way," and I had to make a promise to myself that come the new year, I had to do something. We bought. I know this might sound strange, but Slimming World books. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know yourself existed. I didn't know where to go. So for me, the first step was, look, we'll just change the food a bit. We'll see what we can do. So that was kind of the start. Bought some books, um, and we just went from there. Made the meals, and then I just started walking. I couldn't do much else. I was not fit enough to do anything else. I was still working. I had a very active job, but I was lazy everywhere else. So just by walking 4 times a week, 5 times a week, even if it was just an hour, was the kickstart of the weight loss. The scale started coming down and felt fitter, felt better, and just things just took off. Just kept eating the same stuff, trying to stay within the
Yeah.
guidelines of them books, and one thing and another, and they just weight just slowly come off within the 6 months. I think we got down to 15 stone within 6 months, so a big loss originally. But then the other side of it began where you just plateau, and that's it.
Man, that's first of all, you know what? You should be really proud of yourself because like you didn't really know what to do, right? But you just latched out of what you knew, what was familiar to you, which is Slimming World, it's got that brand, it's got that name. Everyone knows that who doesn't know anything about diet or training or lifestyle or whatever. That's one of the first names they're going to reach out to. So reach out to this plan, but you get on there. And in 6 months, you've done incredibly well. That's what almost 4 stones down, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, during that process, doing everything like that, starting to take accountability in your day, starting to follow a routine, starting to be more active, making healthier choices, your body shape changing. I mean, how did that make you feel at that stage? Would you say that you were motivated to push further, or would you say that you did that, but you still felt kind of disenchanted because you didn't know what to do next?
Yeah, there's definitely a point where you hit a brick wall and you think, I need to get some more weight off, but it's not coming off. What do I need to do? Where do I need to go? And then it just became a bit of a plateau. I'd lose a bit, gain a bit, lose a bit, and it just become a vicious cycle then of just going round and round the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
And then mentally it was hard because you wanted to lose more weight but you couldn't lose any more weight, and so then it just kind of slowly drifted down and back up, and yeah, it was just continuous cycle that was hard to get out of.
Man, that's a fucking frustrating place to be. I know how many people are in this situation. And I know, like me, I've been there myself, where you're putting in the effort, you're putting in the focus, you're eating what you think is right, you're
Mm,
training what you think is right, you're doing the cardio that you think is right, and you're not actually making progress. You're just literally, as you said, spinning your wheels. You're not seeing changes. And you know what? It's really disheartening. It's really demotivating because you think to yourself that, fuck me, I'm putting this effort in. I'm trying to do my best here. I don't
yeah,
seem to be making any fucking progress, right? So that's always a difficult position to be in. And I always tell people that's actually the best time to reach out to a coach because
yeah.
you were very illustrated. And I think we'll get onto this in a bit, but I think when I first had my first conversation with you, I'm sure I remember saying to you at the time that, we're going to have a good journey because you'd already illustrated that he had gone from 19 stones down to 15 stones. So I knew you had the work ethic, right? I knew you had the discipline, but it's just a case of you didn't have the knowledge of what to
Yeah.
do to take your body to that next level. So how long were you stuck in the sort of yo-yo cycle before you did end up reaching out to me, and explain kind of like how that actually happened when you got to talk with me and we began working?
So I think 2016 was my biggest. I think 2017, if I remember, is when I
Mm.
initially lost like the first lot of weight. And then it just kind of sat around there. I was happy I'd lost some weight. I was a lot fitter, a lot slimmer. And it kind of just bounced along just nicely away, stayed the same. And I think when did we meet now? Was it 2021?
Yeah,
So obviously I'd bounced around a few gym groups, and it I kind of I'll go to the gym and see what we can do, but I didn't have a clue. I'll be honest, I didn't have a you don't have a plan, you don't have a structure.
yeah,
Uh, and then obviously I'd seen your name around a lot, and you're always dubious online coaches. You think, oh, is it a fad? Is it are they real? Are they genuine? Can they do what they say they do? Because let's be honest, there's that many people now, Instagram, social media. Everyone claims to be a coach, everyone claims to be a guru, and your name just kept popping up and up and up. And I just said to the wife, she was in that vicious cycle of gaining weight, not losing weight, trying everything. She tried everything. I'll give her credit. She did everything. And she said, I'm going to take a chance on yourself. And that's kind of where it went. She took the leap. She started losing the weight. And I was like, what have I got to lose?
yeah. The thing is, that's just such an awesome insight, man. Because you're right, you are right. I tell people all the time that I understand the sort of like people being really kind of sort of cautious about working with an online coach, right? Because you've got a lot out there. There's different types of coaches. So you've got coaches out there that they're really not there to support you, or they don't really care that much. And I don't want to talk bad about anyone, but their whole thing is to build a business, which I can understand, right? They're doing it as a business. They're selling a program. It's not really, working with the person on an individual level. You're not really championing the person. You're just kind of just selling your plans. Right. The way that I work is obviously very different. I'm all about connecting with a person and actually working with them to get the best out of them. But it's such a minefield out there that people get surprised when they message me because I say to them, look, I completely understand your point of view. I understand there's a minefield, and you're coming to me or a coach with a goal that is really important to you, it's really personal to you. That's if you achieve it, it's gonna really fulfill one of your, you know, tick lists in your life,
yeah,
right? So I want to treat that with the right attitude. I want to take that on, and I want you to know that we're a team now. What we're doing, and I understand that they take it to a lot of coaches, and a lot of coaches don't take it with that attitude. So I get it completely, and I'm so glad, obviously, right, that Carol did reach out because I know that she was. I remember on my first conversation with her, and for people watching, Carol is Sam's wife, right? She actually joined me first, and Sam joined me later on, which you'll find out in a short while. So working with Carol, I remember first talking to her, and she was stuck in that yo-yo trap, and it's horrible because I've known so many people again in that trap, and it's difficult because for me as a coach, I want to say that look, man, just join up right now because I'm gonna be able to help you with this problem, right? But
yeah.
you've got to give people that space, right? Because they're just gonna think, well, this guy just wants to fucking take my money, right? But it's because I know how painful that situation is, being in that plateau, and you just want to get a result, and you think you can't get a result. So of course, me and Carol, we've got working together, and it was a fantastic journey. And then you came along and decided to work with me as well. And I would love to know like what prompted that for you. Like at what stage did you think, do you know what? I'm gonna get a coach on board because I've got some goals that I want to achieve. And I don't seem to be getting close to those goals. So now let me get in somebody who I think potentially could help me.
I think like Carol, she was doing very well. She was losing quite good weight, looking good.
Yeah.
And I think around the gain seekers, you see a lot of good looking people who have achieved a lot of things. There's people on there who've achieved amazing things. And for me, it was like she once said to me, I wonder if you can get abs. And I was like, I don't ever think so. You think it's a bit of a gimmick and you think, oh, I'll never get there. And so it kind of just became a bit of a motivation to look, I'll sign up. Let's do 10 weeks and see what you can really do in 10 weeks. See what's possible. It kind of sits in the back of your mind. All right, it's going to be hard. It's going to be, I'm going to be starving. He's not going to give me loads of food. And in fact, it was a complete opposite for me. It was, wow, I can eat all this food. I can, I training hard and it was hard, yeah. But for me, it was just like it's the knowledge that you get from yourself. The amount of food I could eat, it just made me happy, and I was like, it's not that bad.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. I love it. You know what it is that I never forget that first conversation I had with you, right? Because I thought to myself, man, this guy's underselling himself hugely, right? Because I remember when we first talked and you said that, look, I don't know if I can get abs like the guys that you've posted up, right? Because obviously, my whole thing is to celebrate clients all the time. I'm posting transformations, and you'll always
Yeah,
notice with me, I give a rundown on the person's story. It's not just a case of, hey, amazing transformations, sign up now, right? It's a case of let's understand what this person's gone through to achieve this result, right? And when you reached out to me and we had that conversation, I was, I can't even begin to tell you how like how hopeful I was that you would sign up. Because when you said that to me, I just never forget when I, finished the voice note with you, I was thinking to myself, I just hope this guy signs up because I'm going to show him that actually what he thinks is not that achievable, he actually
yeah,
can do, right? And I love that because people will look at a transformation and they'll think, I've had so many people come to me and be like, look, I know I can't get like this person, but I would like to just make a result. And I think,
yeah,
if I worked with you, I'd be able to make that. And they've gone so much further than they thought that they could. And I'm really glad as well to hear that you get on the journey and immediately, right, you're starting to realize that, hang on, fucking hell, like there is a different way to do things, right?
yeah,
And actually, my nutritional knowledge, right, I can gain so much more insight now, right, into actually what I can and can't do and how to make progress. And my thing is this: is that you know, you get the plan off me, you're going for the diet, you're going for the training, you're going for the cardio, right? Obviously, everything's personally unique to
yeah,
you and your goal. When you start to see that progress come in, because you know what it is, Sam. When I work with coaches myself, right? So I work with the pioneering fathers of coaching who predominantly came out of America, bodybuilders. And I'll never forget that when I worked with my first coach, you know what it was, mate, is that I was just so fucking happy to be making results. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how did you feel like when you started to see shit, my weight's dropping, my physique is changing, something's happening here. Like you haven't gone the whole way, right? You're where you want to be, but you're like, okay, I'm making some progress. Things are changing for me. Like, what did that do to you?
It's definitely a euphoric feeling that you think I've gone from, this guy who was massive, overweight, and now you're just like a miles away. And I don't know, it's the strangest feeling ever, but the hard work doesn't stop. That's the main thing. You've got to keep going. You can't, but it also drives you to keep going. It doesn't, you start, a bit more, bit more. Can I have a bit more? Is there a bit more? Is there anything left? And it's just, yeah, it's definitely a strange feeling.
It's a great feeling because you think to yourself that I'm actually doing this, and you're right. I say to people that motivation is a weird thing. I truly believe that motivation, true motivation, so motivation that actually lasts, is motivation that comes from doing things. So when you start to see yourself change, and yeah, the cardio is hard. Yeah, the diet can be hard. Yeah, the training's hard. Yes, sometimes it can feel inconvenient. Yes, sometimes you can be tired. Yes, sometimes you don't have the ideal day, right? But you're motivated because you know the results that can happen. Now you're moving forward, right? And you want to see more and more of that. You're thinking, shit, how far can I go? Right? So, if I ask you, like, for you, when was the turning point, like, for you in terms of your journey, when you started to think, like, shit, I'm now going to go to somewhere where I never thought I could get to? Would you say that's about halfway, three-quarters way through, you started to wake up and think, fuck, like, now I'm going somewhere that is beyond where I thought this is better than just dropping a few pounds or losing a bit of weight? I'm actually seeing a new physique come into play here.
Yeah, yeah. I think it become because you're obviously around a lot of people in the gym, and then you start getting compliments of people, and you start getting compliments of yourself, of your wife, and you can just see your body changing slowly away. But I'll not lie, it is hard, and the amount cardio and then dropping little bits of food here and there, and it's hard, but you wanted more every time. You wanted the more results. You wanted the fat to go. You just wanted it. So it didn't matter what you did. You just pushed harder and harder, and it does pay off.
Pays off big time. And it is so awesome because you're putting all this hard work into your body, right? And I really love the way I always say to people, you can't fake being healthy, being fit, being in shape, being strong. You have to become those things. So you're now developing a routine that is completely an abstract to the routine that 19 Stone Sam was on. You've gone from a
Yeah,
guy who's pretty much doing nothing but his job as activity, right, to being a guy who's weighing out his food, right, who's eating multiple meals per day, right, packed full of quality nutrition, right, you're exercising regularly, right, you're going to the gym regularly, and you're not just doing those things, you're doing them with intent. So you're looking to push your cardio harder, you're looking to push your training harder, right, every 7 fucking days, right, you're seeing your body change. People are complimenting you, your missus is complimenting you. That fucking changes you on a level. Like, when you think back to where you were, to where you started to get to, that must have been quite a fucking lot to process, man, emotionally as well. Thinking like you've literally built a completely different man.
yeah. It's weird. You're still you, but you just know you look better, you feel better, your mind's more stronger, and it just drives you to push harder in life, at work, your family, and I have a great family. If it wasn't for the wife and that, I wouldn't have been able to achieve half of what I did. She kept us going. She let me do the things I needed to do, and it become a good life. And I'm, definitely both of us. It changed us both, not just myself, but the wife as well.
Man, this for me is probably the most beautiful thing to have. And that's kind of what I wanted to transition into now is that, people will look at these journeys and see it like you. We're going to show your pictures in a short while, the transformation you made. And they'll say, like, oh my God, that guy got into amazing shape. Yeah, but that's only the tip of the iceberg. Because I tell people this all the time that please don't look at these journeys as just somebody who got a six pack, right?
Mm.
Or somebody got ready for holiday or a competition or whatever. Look at it as somebody's changed their lifestyle around and they've got it full of positive habits. No one can ever argue with me on the fact that being healthy, being in fit, being in shape, being strong, eating right is going to be nothing but a positive in anyone's life,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's going to give them a foundation which they can build on. This lifestyle, because obviously I coach you, I coached your wife, Carol. Both of you getting into great shape. And what was really making me happy is how it's spilling into your actual family life. That's how family should be, working together, right, to empower each other, to be better. I know this too well, mate, because I got four brothers, and all the time, does this make sense? None of us get time to be at a low. None of us get time to be down because every one of us is picking each other up and pushing us. So, I mean, for people out there who don't know, like this has had such a positive impact on your family in terms of the fact that you guys are doing all these things together, pushing each other. How is it, man? How is it for people who don't know? Well, because I had so many questions on my own family, how it is, and I get surprised some people don't have, like you said, you've got to be very grateful and thankful for having that environment because a lot of people don't have that. How is it having a partner, having children, and everything, where you're all pushing together on that lifestyle?
It was good. Obviously, we had good days, bad days, hard days. You know, the kids are hard in not in themselves, just their lives. You know, they need so much. You know, they do activities. They're all busy, all three of them, and then the wife works late, so it was very hard to fit everyday life around everything that we needed to do. Especially Carol. You know, I think she made some sacrifices herself to let me keep going, and you know, she slowed down a little bit, but then you're trying to pick her back up, and yeah, it was hard, but you had to bounce off each other and rely on each other to push forward, and you know, it kept her going and tried to give her time, and you know, vice versa. But it's not easy.
It's not easy at all, and it's these sort of times that honestly, like people don't realize that when you get tough times like that and everyone's pulling together and everyone's pushing and everyone's working on each other, right? You look back, you realize those are the best memories in life. Do you know what I mean? When you're building that sort of thing with your family and everything, it's a really it is a beautiful thing. So I want to pull up a picture now of you, few of your transformation pictures. I tell you, it's going to be awesome when we show it. So I'm just going to, yeah, I'll just get this up. There it is.
See which one.
Yeah, I'm going to get this up. Okay, cheers. Get this one. So can you see that one there?
Not just
I mean, when
yet.
you look at the two, I mean, how does that make you even feel, man? That's the same person in two complete different shapes, like two different
Shocking,
lifestyles, two different mindsets altogether.
shocking, isn't it?
Fucking, it's incredible, isn't it, man? It's actually
Really is.
incredible. And when you
Really
look
is
at it,
very though.
the body structures don't even look the same.
So I think that's 19 stone to I think on the right was 12 and a half, maybe less.
Yeah, yeah, your leanest.
That's I mean, I'll be honest, I've never come back to that, and I, I will do. I'm not, you know.
No, absolutely. And I mean, the thing about it is getting into condition, you get to see how far you can go, and then you get an opportunity to build a base on that, which is kind of what you've done now. I mean, to be honest, you're looking sized up. You can see your arms and shoulders have definitely put a bit of size on. But I mean, that journey there, you got to be proud of that. I mean, that's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. It's a completely new lifestyle, right? Doing shit that you've never done before, right? And doing it day in, day out, months upon end. I mean, the thing about it is that when you look at that, it must motivate you to push even further to see how much further you can go, right?
Oh yeah, I've still got some left in the tank, and I probably could have gone a bit more there, definitely. But I was, it was hard. That was the hardest push I've ever felt
Yeah,
mentally.
it is. There's
If
no
it, if
because you got. It's not like you've got a lazy job. You've got an active job. The thing about it is that you're on very low carbs at this point. You're pushing hard with the cardio, you're pushing hard with training. You've got a very busy family life, right? You're not somebody that's not present in your family, right? So it's like non-stop all the time, plus no energy, plus no like your hunger's through the roof. So it's
yeah,
a lot to take on, but I bet you looking back on that, you're just fucking proud you done it, right?
Yeah, I'm proud I've done it, but I also would like to do it again.
100%. Do it again. I highly advise that. And for people who don't know watching this, I can tell you this because I've been through this myself, and I'm sure it's the same for you. So dieting down the first time, you don't really know what to expect. I'm talking about when you go into really low body fat levels,
Yeah.
like complete physique changing levels, right? When you've never done it before, it's a brutal thing to go through, but it really teaches you what you got in you, right? It really does. Like I tell people this all the time. If you don't want to compete, you don't want to do a photo shoot, still, once in your life, take yourself down to super low body fat levels because you will learn a lot about yourself as a person. And I found doing that experience for myself, because I was never one to want to compete, right? I found that I like to revisit that as a process. Do you see what I mean? I just found it such a great challenge. Is that where you're at? Like you just think to yourself, wonder what I could do. I would love to put myself through that again. Right? It is hard, but it's kind of like it's a satisfaction afterwards.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge people need to do, and I think it can break you mentally if you're not ready for it. And I think it's definitely one of the scariest and strongest things you have got to be ready for in life. If you're gonna do it, hit it hard and just do it, and don't even question why you're doing it. I just did that. I just carried on, and it got to a point where it was so hard. It's hard to maintain. Whoever thinks on social media that people look like that 24/7, they seriously need to think. And I always ask them questions to you. I always said, what's possible, what's reality, what's not, and we were
Yeah.
always honest, and that's how it should be. You've just got to be honest. That's but it's worth every moment to try and see what you can look like.
No, absolutely, man. That's why I used to love it, because I never used to hang around ripped condition. A lot of people get surprised. I never was into being ripped. I only got ripped because one, it would allow me to actually, reset my body and then build up in size again. And secondly, because I like the challenge itself. Like when it came to the tail end of a cut, always, it was never about the body. So it was never me sitting there thinking, oh God, like I want to see these abs and I want to get these veins. It really became, I'm not going to let this work beat me. I'm going to see it through
Yeah,
to the end. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go all the way. I'm going to get all my body fat off, right? Because as painful as it was such a payoff to me to know that I'd accomplished something that I perceived to be so hard. Do you know what I mean? But afterwards, I
yeah.
felt fucking I'd accomplished anything.
I just remember saying to you when we started, I'll never ever look like that. And you always said to me, yes, you will. Said, believe
Yeah.
me, if you don't stop, you will get there. And the pictures don't tell a lie, do they?
No, that's absolutely it. And that's why, like, I was so excited when you messaged me, and I never forget because I really wanted you to join up. I was like, hope he joins up, because I could see that you'd come in and you'd be like, look, man, I'm not expecting miracles of you. I'd like to get past the plateau that I'm on right now. I want to get into better shape. I want to get healthier. I want to get fitter. I've seen what you've done with Carol. I think it's good. I've got no grand expectations of getting like ripped up and abs and all that. I remember thinking, shit, man, I can blow this guy's socks off, because he won't realize. A lot of people don't realize the compounding effect of just working hard and having the right guidance, having accountability, having a check-in, having someone you can talk these things through. Because a
Yeah,
lot, like people forget, I've been through this. And when I had a coach, it was so much better than when you are hitting those moments and you're thinking, am I losing muscle? Am I going too hard? Am I gaining fat? Do you know what I mean? Like these sort of things, when you've got somebody to talk it through who's got experience and can guide you, look, man, this is what to expect. This is what's going on, right? You've got to go through this phase to get to this phase. I think it just makes things so much more manageable. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Like now, I can honestly say, because obviously I'm not on plan. It's definitely hard because you're just accountability for yourself. Whereas when I'm with you, I can message you, I'm struggling, I find it hard, the food's hard, I'm bored of the food. You just know where to adjust, and that's a different, it's a different kettle of fish. No matter how many plans we did, it still doesn't make it any easier when you come off plan. But you've just got to, it's like having training wheels on. It makes life easy, comfortable. I can
Yeah.
message you any time of the day. I'm struggling. I'm finding training hard, and that made it so much easier, definitely.
Yeah, it really, really helps. That's what I try to aim for. That's actually the whole purpose of even Game Seekers, is to provide support, because I know for myself, don't I? Because I've obviously got brothers who are all pushing, and I know that when I can tap into that energy, when you're on a goal that not a lot of people are doing, right? The sort of support or network that you have makes all the difference. And I know from, like I say, from being in a position of not being coached and doing things myself when I was younger, right? And not knowing which way to turn, not knowing what's right, not knowing what's wrong, not knowing, you get worried, you think to yourself, oh, maybe I should starve myself, right? Or maybe, I should do 2 or 3 hours of cardio a day, or, maybe I need to have a cheat meal, and you just don't know what the fuck to do, right? When you've got someone there to guide you, which is the whole point of coach. Coach is there to just throw a plan at you. Coach is there to work through the plan with you,
Yeah.
right? And that makes all the difference. And I'm so glad that I was able to take you to that, because realistically, if you think about it, it opened up a whole new chapter in your mind, right, of what you can and can't do. The bar had got moved significantly, right? I mean, how, and I'll get this picture up now, actually. I'll get it up so people can see this one here, which I'll never forget when you sent me this picture. And I was so happy
Got to a point where you're
with you
proud
on
of yourself.
holiday.
Proud. That's Egypt.
I mean,
That was Egypt last year.
yeah. And when you look at these two pictures of your different holiday shapes, I mean, it's just insane. I mean, you must have such a different experience going on holiday in this shape compared to any shape you've gone in holiday before.
Oh, without a doubt, your confidence is through the roof. It doesn't matter where you're going or what you're doing, and you just, I don't know. It's just a different world. But that picture is after 2 weeks all inclusive holiday,
Not
and
bad, is
but
it, for 2 weeks so inclusive?
no, people can't believe it, and that's a full 2 weeks of food. That's no training. That's nothing. That were 2 weeks and nothing, and it's something to be proud of, that your body can still do things. It's amazing what it can do.
No, it really is. It really is. And I remember when I first started going on holiday, um, like in what was my best shape at the time, and exactly like you, I would train and I would pretty much diet up to the holiday, go away and just chill out, right? Be active, but not really following a diet at all,
Mm.
right? Not really, training with any sort of intensity, just doing circuits and all that, and walking around. It's just a surreal situation to be in, because you're in great shape, you're eating, you're enjoying yourself, you're relaxing, and it's like you don't regret a single fucking ounce of any of those cardio sessions, any days of those hard dieting, any of those training sessions, because you just feel great in yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember the build up to the holiday though. That was one of the hardest, because obviously we'd done a bulk. I remember
Mm.
that. I remember doing like a bulk this time last year, and that was amazing because the amount of food, the muffins, the rice, the meat. Oh, it was just that was just euphoric, and the cardio didn't matter. I don't like cardio. I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan. But when you said, "Oh, it don't matter too much about cardio," relax a little bit. But obviously, you're still weight training. You're pushing harder, pushing heavier, and that sort of
Yeah.
counteracted. But then, obviously, once it come cut time, obviously you had to ramp it up, step it up. Carbs dropped, and I just remember near the end of the cut again, it just become so intense that I had to have a chocolate day. It was just I need something because there was just nothing left.
It happens, man. It happens. You hit those walls, right? And it's difficult. I tell people all the time, the most basic, most utilized form of torture is hunger,
Mm.
right? You get a person hungry, you get them working hard. A lot of people mentally break. The mind will break, right? It's a difficult position, but you worked through it. Right? We went from that bulk, worked through it, got yourself into the shape of your life there. When you sent me those pictures, like I remember looking at them on my phone and just being so happy, because I've been in a position many times now with clients where they've come to me because they didn't like how they were looked on holiday and how they felt, right? And they've made it their mission to never feel that way again. And I always think to myself, it's quite fucking surreal. Like you say, it's like looking back, it's hard to believe, right? That you just at one time you're going on holiday, a complete different shape, and one time you're
Yeah.
going on holiday in the shape of your life, right? and that's all the work that you put in, it's such an achievement inside. And that's really where I feel confidence and motivation comes from. Do you know what I mean? When you've achieved something that you can be motivated about, like fucking hell, I've gone on a 2 week holiday. There's once a time in my life where I couldn't even if we took the Sam that was 19 stones or whatever on holiday, and we took the Sam that was in that last picture on holiday, like that Sam before could never believe that Sam had 2 week all inclusive, eating what the fuck he wants, doing what he wants, looking like that. If I'd have sold, you'd have said, "Look, man, you're a scam artist. There's no way that can happen, right?"
I'll be honest though, like mentally, you can still feel like that person that you was, even though you look the way you do. You know, someone like myself still suffers mentally and thinks, oh, I'm a big again. And it always sits at the back of your mind. And when I went on holiday, I thought, you know, I'm eating all this food again. I'm going to be big when I go back. And it was shocking. I went away the same weight I come back.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And you're right, you know, you never lose it. When I was, should I tell you for myself, right? So when I was bodybuilding, I got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I ended up actually getting to just under 20 stones, right? And in good shape. And I never thought I was big because I always was a 9 stone skinny boy
Yeah,
inside. It wasn't until I stepped away from bodybuilding and I started to look back, you know, after you get a bit of time to clear your head, and I look back at the pictures. So I tell people pictures are so important that it made me realize, like, I can tell on this podcast right now, I can tell you that I can see in you, just looking back to when you got your most shredded, that you do realize you see shit now that you didn't see in the mirror when you were there.
yeah,
It's so true, isn't it? Like in the mirror, you don't see it, like you're still thinking, I've got fat to lose.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
You look
big
back,
time.
you're like, shit.
You can still even now I think I'm sat at what my peak bulk were. So I'm sat there at naturally 84, 85 kilo. I should be cutting now. I should be getting ready to cut and pull back for the summer. I know that mentally it's hard. Am I prepared? Not really. You know, see where things take me in the next couple of weeks and see how I am mentally. And but yeah, you always look in the mirror. You always go, "Am I big?" Or but you know, you've got to get that out of your mind. And body dysmorphia is definitely, even like yourself, from small to big. You still see the smallness where I still see the big. You know, I still have implications of being big, a little bit of loose skin. I've always said that to you. I've always been honest with you about that. Big
Yeah.
insecurity. You know, so there's always reminders, but you've just got to try and keep pushing and just not go back to what you were.
No, you're right. And it's just like as well, like I always tell people, be content, but don't be complacent. So be proud of what you've achieved because you're a million miles away from
Mm.
where you were. And you've got it, you know, there's no doubt about it, you've got yourself into great shape, right? But at the same time, don't be complacent, knowing that you can do better. That's the real victory, right? Knowing that you can go further. And you're right with your cut. You know, the thing about it is that you're sitting at your sort of peak bulk weight now. And the last set of pictures that you sent me, right? To be honest with you, you're it's not like you're in bad condition, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
might not be as lean as you were when you were ripped, but that's fucking obvious. You're at your peak of your bulk, right? But you're not, it's not exactly like when I looked at you, it's not like I'm thinking, fuck man, this guy would need 25, 30 weeks of dieting, right? It
yeah.
just looks like a good 15-week diet, you'll be where you need to be. So I would say don't have to rush into it. Maybe just transition for yourself, you know, slowly bring that food down a little bit, bring cardio up a little bit, train hard. And I mean, for you now, you've been ripped, right? You've done that challenge. You've actually done a bulk, right? Proper lean bulk with me, which was incredible. I mean, because you got to eat a lot of food. You got to enjoy getting stronger. You got to enjoy building your body. I mean, and obviously, I know you're busy with family, you're busy building your career. So for you this year ahead, what does that look like? I mean, what would you like to achieve this year? Or what are you going after?
Um, you know, it's something I don't even really know the answer to. I kind of, I was just going along with this year and see what happened, and I'd like to, you know, I don't know, maybe give a bit more time to family as well. You know, I'm trying to do
Hmm.
that and trying to cut back and work it just a little bit, not too much, but just enough to give give the family a little bit more attention. But I definitely, for myself, I'd like to pull that weight back off, pull that bit of fat off that I've got around the stomach. And as because I was big, that's my problem area. That's where it'll always sit. If you look at someone who's not shredded, but they'll always have a good shape, a good flat stomach. Whereas myself, it sits a bit more. So that's definitely a big insecurity, and I think maybe we'll see how this year goes, and like to pull that back off, and maybe come back and see what's left in the tank. See if there's another 10 weeks in there, and see what happens. Who knows?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I really would. And I would say to you, what would be a killer combination would be like if you done so you just look at your year ahead, right? And you want to drop that body fat. You're not in a position where you need to give it 30 weeks, right? Or 25 weeks or anything like that. I would say to him, I would say, if I was you, I'd say, look, when can I give it 15 to 20 weeks, right? I would do 8 to 10 weeks just slowly cutting, right? Getting used to lower calories, dropping a couple of kilos. And then I would come to me, honestly, around 80 so that I can utilize the time that I've got with you to actually
Yeah,
propel you so much further than we were last time. And the beauty is, because I know that you might not feel it now, because this happens to everyone in the bulk, right? But the time that you've been spending training, because I could tell just looking at you in your polo shirt that you put size on, just the time that you spent training and everything. What people don't realize until they take the fat off, the muscle this time when you come down is going to have a much better look. It's going to have more pop. It's going to look thicker because it's going to have more density just from time under tension in the gym, right? And you'll actually every time you do a cut, typically it's easier because your body has memory of going back to where it was, right? So you'll find that dieting down is always going to be hard, but it'll be a lot more manageable. You won't find it difficult. When I got towards the end of when I was going for these bulk cut cycles, the last few cuts really they're just about discipline. I didn't feel them because I was
yeah,
ready for everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was ready to be hungry. I was ready for the cardio. I knew exactly what was coming. Nothing was a surprise for
yeah,
me. So that's the thing there. And yeah, balance is everything, man. Balance is everything. If you can get a situation where you can build your body, be in great health, be in great fitness, be in great shape, make sure that you're getting plenty of time with the family. Korea is doing good, but it's not overrunning everything. And that's
yeah.
a good position to be in. Absolutely good position to be in.
Yeah, definitely, and I think for those, I look at the clients you've had, and some amazing transformations from everyone, no matter who you've had, from weight loss to stripping down. I know how every single one of them's felt, and if I could put it in words, it's euphoric in some sense to see, what people are capable. But you've also got to remind yourself that, can I look like that? And yeah, I think more the answer is yes, if you put the time in the effort. And I think people who join up with you and find it hard, everyone's going to find it hard, but you've just got to not break and push through. And the results are there if you want them.
No, it's absolutely beautiful. You're right. And that's something that I'm very proud of. Is I don't just work with like bodybuilders looking to get ready for a contest. I'll work with anyone, but I never mislead anyone. I say to them exactly what you've said is that look, you can't if you want to go from here to here in life, in anything, career, business, family, whatever, right? You can't expect that you're going to go from here to here by doing your normal daily routine and
Yeah,
trying. You've got to go in. You've got to just follow that plan. You not only got to follow it, you got to give it everything you can, and literally every single time. Again, it doesn't matter what area in life you're doing it. Every single time when you have that approach, you'll always end up going further than you realize because that work builds up and it builds up quickly. And you're absolutely right. It is euphoric. It is euphoric when you're checking in, especially when you start to go midway into the journey and it's like fuck every time I'm sending this guy pictures every 7 days that are passing and I'm getting that full week of the wheel in of
yeah.
routine. I'm actually seeing visible change. I'm actually feeling different.
Yeah, there were points where you send a check in and it's like there's no difference, or I'm not seeing anything, or and then you'll just be like, yeah, but there is, and you can see something that you can't in yourself, and that makes a big difference. It gives you encouragement to push again next week.
Yeah, it's really hard to see yourself. Normally people only see it when I've showed them before and after. They're like, that's really me. I'm like, yeah, you've done really good, ain't you? Right? Because it's hard. I've been there. Like I say, I know myself that that's why I wanted to get so big. Because I kept saying to myself, oh, I don't know, I need to be big, I need to put
Yeah,
more size, I need to do this. You don't see yourself, and a coach is really great for that. I tell people all the time that you're not going to be able to spot changes in your own body like I will. A guy who's looking at 300 plus bodies a week in, week out, for years on end. I know exactly what I'm looking at. And I think it makes a huge difference. A coach saying to you, hang on, you have changed. This is what's happened. And this is what we need to do next week to keep changing.
But it's true. Like obviously, I stumbled upon you on certain groups on Facebook, and true to your word, you did what you said you do on the tin, and there was no lies, no misleading. I was advised. I was never pushed, and I can hand on heart say it's probably one of the best things that I ever did. And even this friendship that you get now, if I struggle, I can still message you. If I'm, I know you're always there, even if I'm not on plan, or there doesn't have to be that there. It's, for me, it's a lot more. I got a lot more out of it than just a coach. I just did 20 weeks, 10 weeks. I got a lot more out of it, and I think others do too. So yeah,
Thank you ever
best
so
wishes,
much,
man.
Sam. This is a pleasure, absolute pleasure. It really is. And that's just my Sam, that's my way of coaching, right? So I tell people the day that I get up and I think of it like a job, because I know obviously I know what a job is like, right? I was in a corporate industry for like 15 years. I've got other things that I do, but for coaching, it is purely a passion. I enjoy it so much. And the thing about it is that, you know, my method of coaching, because everyone's got a different method. And I would say that my method is that I just personally don't understand how I can get the best out of a person if I don't build a connection with that person. Right. I don't get to understand that person. Like, what are they going through? What's their life like? Who are they as a person? Right. And that's the thing. So for me, even though you're not on plan anymore, does this make sense? Like, my desire to see you progress, my desire to
Yeah,
see you go and smash it, it doesn't stop for me. Like, I I'm so happy when you message me and say that I'm keeping this up, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. I want to do, I'm thinking to go and cut, I'm thinking to bulk more, up my diet, I want to change something there.
yeah,
It makes me happy, man, because I think to myself, a real coach wouldn't want to just have somebody and then it's a case of the only way you'll ever make progress is if you stay with me, right?
yeah,
I would like to think that I can teach somebody the tools and give them the confidence to go ahead and still make progress. And like you say, you've been dealing with a lot of other things, and yet you're still maintaining a lot. You're still hitting the gym. You're at
yeah.
your peak box size. You're not out of shape, right? So just proof in the pudding, really. Do you know what I mean? That once you create that lifestyle, it just changes everything.
Yeah, just I don't want to give up, and I enjoy training now. I enjoy going to the gym and just getting away out the headspace for an hour, put the music on, and just do your own thing and be the best in there that you can be. And I go in there and I go in with the intention of either adding more or doing a bit more, and that's it. It's a challenge, and just got to keep up that weekly challenge, daily challenge. I don't go as much as I used to. I used to do 5 and 6 days. I just do 4 now. I think 4 is a good number, and it seems to work.
No, absolutely. Falls perfect, to be honest with you, especially in an off season or when you're bulking. You got adequate rest so you can hit the muscles hard and heavy. And, the end of the day is that you get balance, right? On a cut, it's a temporary thing. When we're talking long term lifestyle here, I want to be training more than the only time I train 5 or 6 days a week is when I know that, okay, I want to cut for 15 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But for the rest of the year, it's like 3 or 4 days a week. Absolutely. So, Sam, I want to say to you, bro, it's been an absolute pleasure doing this client cast with you and getting insight into your journey and just like where you started, where you've been, where you're at now, and where you want to get to. So I just want to say thank you ever so much for doing it.
No, thank you for your time, your effort, everything that you did for myself and Carol. It means a lot to us both. And for anyone who's struggling, just contact you, even if they just want to talk to you and just get a feel that, for me, I found that, there was no pressure, the door's open, and, you know, but I think people need to get in touch, and definitely if they're ready for that next step, I think it's not a bad decision getting a coach, especially someone like yourself, and just put the time and effort into themselves, those who are struggling especially.
I appreciate it, man, and I completely agree with you. If you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself that, look, I want to make a change, I want to do something different, reach out. I don't never want to force anyone to buy a fucking plan on me, but I want people who want to work with me. I understand you're nervous, right? I can understand apprehensive, but if you
Yeah,
if you want that change, know that that change can happen. with the right coach, and I consider myself to be that right coach. So appreciate the kind words, my brother, and I will leave you back to your hotel studying. Right. You studying tonight, or are you just going to go straight relax now?
No, time for a full carb meal now.
Oh, really? What are you having?
Probably chicken and sweet potato fries.
That's a good meal. That's a good meal. Well, enjoy your meal, and I will catch up with you soon, brother. Take care.
Thank you, man. Take care.
Take care.